YouTube, this is Rapscallion, and today I just wanted to let out some of my chud fury, my righteous chud rage, and talk about the first and only time I ever asked out a girl, and about how it blackpilled me on Valentine's Day, and I guess how bad experiences in general can sort of define who you are in life. So yeah, my first rejection. The story goes, I meet this girl at school, as you do. Um, I was like 10 years old at the time, and she was the one who actually approached me, if you can believe that, fake cell alert. Basically, what happened was I had a drawing on my school binder, and it was of this YouTuber, and, it was pretty much a hoe magnet, right, to this girl. No, but yeah, she recognized it, and we got to chatting about the YouTuber and stuff. Because at that age, all it really takes to make a friend is to have some kind of common interest. And for us, it was some shitty YouTuber. I actually made another friend that year. Um, Through similar circumstances, I had heard him spurging out about Five Nights at Freddy's, which was big at the time, like 2014. And I I joined him and we spurged together, you know? And I still talk to that guy to this day, over 10 years later. So yeah, all we really needed was a shared interest, and we got to talking. We weren't in the same class, so our only time to chat was at the end of the day after school when we waited for our parents to pick us up. And I just remember her being so nice to me, which, was not common at the time. I mean, it's not common now, but I had been bullied and I just wasn't used to someone being so nice to me. So, I think because of her kindness, it was very easy for me to develop a crush on her. And I don't know if that's like weird to have like that desire to be in a relationship at that age, but I had it. I had been thinking about girls since I was very young and just wanting to, I guess, be in a relationship. And I don't know. I was raised on like romance movies and like Disney shit, so maybe that is what was influencing me. I mean, you see other kids do it and you want the same for yourself, I suppose. Um, but yeah, anyway, I had this ever growing crush on this girl, and I had no idea how to address it. Because it's not like I had anyone to guide me or give me advice. Like, I mean, I had my siblings at the time, but they weren't really someone I could turn to. And I had my parents, but, my dad wasn't really in the picture, and my mom was always working so late, so I just didn't want to burden her with anything. I would remember her coming home from work, like so tired, and I just never wanted to bother her because she had so much on her plate. But yeah, I was mainly influenced by media. Like I said, Disney movies and romance and, shit like that. That was the example I was trying to live up to. And I think that's why I was so infatuated with girls growing up. I waited for Valentine's Day, scrounging together what little birthday bucks and Christmas dollars I had. I had my mom drive me to Walmart where I bought this girl all sorts of crazy cool shit, you know? Um, I mean, more accurately, it's where my mom bought her crazy cool shit because it's not like we were loaded at the time. So this was a big deal for, you know, my mom to be spending money on shit for this girl. And I did contribute a little bit with, like I said, my birthday bucks, but it was not very much. But anyway, I bought this girl a card, a box of heart-shaped chocolates, a teddy bear holding a heart. He's like hugging this heart, you know? And I even bought her heart-shaped earrings. I went fucking overboard. And in my mind, I figured that there was literally zero chance that this girl wouldn't end up being my girlfriend. After giving her all this shit, I figured she'd probably hop into my arms or some shit like that. But spoiler alert, that that isn't quite what happened. So finally, that cursed day arrives. Valentine's Day. Cue scary thunder and lightning. Dun dun dun. Valentine's Day, right? It arrives, and I couldn't be any more excited. I emptied my school bag to fit all this shit inside, so I went without any school supplies the entire day. But it didn't even matter to me because I was so thrilled. I was so excited. Me and my suspiciously shaped teddy bear backpack, we made it to the end of the day, and I'm just feeling so fucking smug. I'm on top of the world, and in my mind, I already have a girlfriend, right? I've ascended basically. um, but no, I wait for the moment of opportunity, where I see this girl, and I present her with gifts galore, and I just give her all this shit that's been in my book bag, the chocolates, the card, the teddy bear, the earrings, and yeah, man, that card. I wrote some shit in there like, "Oh my God, I love you so much," stuff like that. And like her parents must have been terrified when they read that. This girl had a stalker at like age 10, so brutal. But anyway, I give her this stuff and she just kind of awkwardly accepts them, not really saying a word. I can't remember if she was smiling or not, but I really don't think she was. She was just standing there staring at me as I wait for her to, be ecstatic. But it never happened. As we know, nothing ever happens. She just stands there and stares awkwardly and walks away. And that was the last time we ever spoke to one another. I mean, I can't even say it was the last time we spoke because she didn't speak. Not a word. She just avoided me for the rest of the school year. And, I just remember mainly feeling confused and embarrassed. And I just didn't understand why it didn't work. I had my head full of so much blue pilled nonsense. I thought that by simply being nice to a girl, she would want to be with you. Um, but yeah, I was just super embarrassed, and we were surrounded by all these kids, and um, in hindsight, she must have been really embarrassed too. Having been surrounded by all her friends, and having this subhuman ask her out. It must have been very distressing for her. But yeah, I just remember going home and like crying so much because I was so like heartbroken, I guess. Um, and yeah, in hindsight, she was probably crying too because she was traumatized that my subhuman ass thought I had a chance. It's just so embarrassing. I hate thinking about it, but I do think about it quite often, at least every Valentine's Day. And I don't know if that's like weird. I don't know if I'm just some kind of sensitive pussy for allowing this to affect me so deeply, but it does. I do think about that experience quite a bit. Um, and I just maybe that's weird, but it's just I remember that those feelings so vividly, and I'm certain she hasn't thought about it since that day. So it's like, why am I? I don't know. I'm just a sensitive young man, and my heart was broken. My stupid chud heart. But yeah, that was the first and last time I ever asked a girl out, and in some way I do feel a bit lucky because it kind of blackpilled me on Valentine's Day pretty early on. Like, I've never given a fuck about Valentine's Day since that happened. I don't get sad or upset over seeing Valentine's Day slopaganda. I don't get sad when I see couples or anything. I just don't care. I just don't give a fuck about Valentine's Day, and I haven't since this experience. Um, I mean, well, I do get sad thinking about the experience itself, because it's just, it was over even back then. And I guess it just goes to show that no matter how nice you are to someone, they don't really owe you anything, which, I mean, for me, was something I needed to be taught. It was a lesson I needed to be taught because I'm autistic and I don't really understand interactions that well. So I thought if you just loved bombs someone, they would, reciprocate that love. But yeah, that was the last time I ever asked out a girl. I mean, there was one time where I almost asked out a girl over FaceTime. Something almost happened, but then her sister came in and went, "Oh my god, he's so ugly." Like, that really happened. And I just kind of sat there smiling like some kind of soylent cuckold. But, who knows? You never know until you try, right? You miss 100% of shots you don't take. I'm sure she would have said yes. Anything is possible after all. I'm just a defeatist loser chud for letting my past experiences keep me down, right? I hate that shit. I hate when people say don't let the past keep you down, or don't let past experiences define who you are. To me, that doesn't make any sense. It's retarded because what else are you supposed to let define you? What are people except the sum of their experiences? I let the past serve as a lesson so I don't make the same mistakes and I don't get hurt in the same ways. I haven't asked a girl out in years because I don't want to be hurt. It's just, it makes sense to defend yourself from that kind of pain. And I don't think there's anything cowardly about avoiding pain, is another thing. I think that's just being smart. And I just think that kind of advice, don't let the past, like, negatively affect who you are now, I just think that's stupid. And hearing it pisses me off. Because to deny the past is to, like, deny your own lived experience, as much as I hate to use that term. Um, it's to deny reality. And I mean, I'm definitely defined by my past experiences. I think everyone is, whether or not they like to admit it. I've grown to be a very solitary person, and I avoid other people if I can. And that's because my past experiences, having been hurt by people time and time again, I avoid them so that I won't be hurt again. And I do understand that it's hypocritical to complain about being unable to connect to anyone whilst actively avoiding them. But what am I supposed to do? How, like, can you blame me? I've been, having gone what I went through. I'm supposed to just risk being hurt again. Why? For what purpose? I don't know. I like I think I'm just being overly negative, but if I am negative, it's because I've been conditioned to be by this world. I'm just cynical and bitter and jaded and lonely. So lonely. I just I still really do want that connection. I want a girlfriend, to put it simply. I just want someone to share myself with, someone who understands me, but I'm probably never gonna get that. And that is unfortunate. Um, I just, I need an autistic femcel pronto, on the double, ASAP. I know it wouldn't fix all my problems, but it would definitely fix quite a few of them. I thought about downloading that autism dating app that FM talks about. Hickey, I think it's called. But I don't know. I actually had a dream about it, a premonition, if you will. And I have no idea what I would put for like pictures or my biography or anything like that. Like, I guess just my age, my weight, and then like two pictures, one from the front and one from the side. I'm very, I mean, that's just kind of how I do things, but that's not what people want. They want, I almost said they want someone with a good personality, but we both know that isn't true. They want someone who looks good, and I do not look good. So it's kind of over in that department. But yeah, I guess the point of this video is that the past taught me a lesson, and it's in my best interest to learn from that lesson and not repeat the same mistakes. But unless I guess, repeat the same mistakes, I can't get what I want. So I'm kind of just at an impasse, and I have a choice between action or inaction. And right now I'm not acting, and obviously I can't get what I want if I don't act. But if I do act, I'll probably just get hurt again. And I mean, that goes beyond dating, that goes beyond socializing, that's just everything in my life. To try is to put yourself at risk, and I'm just really afraid of trying. But yeah, that's about it. Until next time.